Today's chapter talks about the external environment and culture of organizations. Every organization has to exist in an external environment. That includes all the elements that affect the organization. The general environment, the organizational ecosystem, and the internal environment. So you can see the author breaks it down to three areas: the task environment, internal environment, which basically means culture, and the general environment, technology, the natural world, sociocultural, economic, legal, political, international. Task environment, you have to take care of your competitors, your customers, your suppliers, and maintain your labor market. Labor market's very important because certain organizations need a minimum of employees to exist. Take, for example, the New York City Transit Authority. It's a 24/7 operation. To exist, they have to hire something like 4,000 people every year. The extended environment of Costco. Well, as you can see from the author's chart here, that Costco has a lot of competitors, customers, suppliers, a lot of employees, has to deal with economics, natural, technological, international. So for this company to continue to be successful, it has to be able to move forward on all these different fronts. General, environmental, international. Well, globalization now has changed the world. New competitors, new customers, new suppliers, changes in social, technological, economic trends. Those trends affect companies not just when they happen in the United States, but when they happen in Europe, in China, in Norway, in South Africa. So all organizations now must compete and think globally. Massive advancement in specific industries and society have been caused by the technological changes. And those changes are coming faster and faster. Competition is driven almost by technology. You can probably all remember the days when there wasn't ATM machines and when you couldn't order things over your cell phone, or you couldn't have a ticket put on your cell phone. Sociocultural, demographics, characteristic norms. All right? Each generation is different. It has a different impact on certain types of corporations. The U.S. population is aging. Soon, the most significant demographic in the United States will be over 60 years old. And they will be the biggest demographic to sell to. Growing diversity has implications for all types of businesses. The last 10 building applications in New York City have all been for assisted living facilities for the aging population. Economic health is important not just in our country but our region and even globally. So if your customers in China suddenly don't have money to buy your products, you have a problem. Unemployment rates, interest rates all affect the bottom line of corporations. Legal, political, government regulations, state, local, and federal can have a tremendous impact on how you operate. Political activities, movements to the left or to the right can change rules and regulations. So managers must recognize also the power of pressure groups and work to influence companies to behave in a socially responsible way. Excuse me. We also have to deal with the natural environment, growing importance and pressure on maintaining the pureness of the natural environment. Companies can't just dump their waste into the local river as they did for hundreds of years. Environmental groups now have a lot of advocacy: reduce pollution, renewable energy, global warming, sustainable use of scarce resources. Sustainability is now becoming a growing career. Our environmental performance is not the best because we're an industrialized nation. Organization-environment relationships. Environment can create uncertainty for managers. Must try to respond and design adaptive organizations. and try and deal with the new developing demands. So companies have to learn how to adapt and live with the environment. So one way to adapt to the environment is mergers. Two organizations combine to become one. Joint ventures, strategic alliances or programs by two or more organizations. You can merge to avoid some environmental problems. Start a joint venture where you try to do something that's new or different that won't lose a lot of money. Shift to the partnership paradigm. If you have a partner, as you see, you can resolve often a lot of the problematic issues on the left. And probably within the last year, there have been more mergers than in the last 20 years. The internal environment. This is the corporate culture. Every organization has its own culture, its own symbols, stories, heroes, slogans, ceremonies that maintain the individuality of that company. Culture can be seen on the surface as how people dress, how the office is laid out, what are the symbols of power, slogans, ceremonies. Invisible express values such as the Penny Way, the HP Way, the Johnson & Johnson Credo, express the underlying assumptions and deep beliefs of an organization and how it treats its people. 4 types of corporate culture. Corporate culture plays a key role in learning and innovative responses. Take, for example, Google versus HP versus General Motors versus Amazon. All are quite different. So, managing the high-performance culture, the bottom line strategies are successful in the short term, but successful companies must balance culture and performance. They need to not only be cool, hip, a nice place to work, but they also have to produce profits. Culture is the glue that holds an organization together. High-performance culture based on solid organizational mission and purpose. Any good organization, if you go to their website, somewhere on the first or second page, will have a clear statement of their mission. And in all good organizations, all employees know what the mission and purpose of the organization is. So the organizations have to have shared values that guide decisions and practices. Encourage employee ownership, bottom line results, help increase the organization's culture. Cultural leadership defines, uses signals to influence corporate culture, to articulate a vision for the organization that employees can believe in, heads the day-to-day activities that reinforce the cultural mission. Leaders communicate through words and actions. Obviously, the prime example of this is Steve Jobs. He was the cultural leader for Apple.